Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the Dave Bristol Show. On this episode, we're going to talk about my dog Gracie, who passed recently, and we're also going to discuss the circus in the Senate Judiciary Committee for the nomination of Judge Brett Kavanaugh and his accuser, Dr. Blasey Ford. Coming up next on the Dave Bristol Show. I'm DB, of course. And okay, let's get this out of the way first. The ugly tie. There it is. Look at that thing. Oh, it's a nightmare. That is just a straight-on nightmare. So this episode was delayed quite a bit because recently my old Weimaraner dog Gracie, there's her photo right there. She passed. She was 15 years old. And she just started declining really severely in the past 3 or so weeks. She went completely stone deaf. Of course, she's actually been deaf for a while, but then she was completely blind. She was constantly pacing around the house. She would pace around the house for hours. Running into things and tripping over things and falling down. She hurt her left front paw, so she was limping. It was just time, and it was just time. And if you love dogs as much as I do, which I'm sure a lot of you do, every 15 years or so, depending on the size of the dog, apparently, they break your heart. And they do so many awesome things, and they make you laugh, and they frustrate you sometimes. But Gracie was a good one. She was a really good dog, and I'm really going to miss her a lot. She was just one of the good dogs, and I'm going to miss her a lot. And not just me. My best friend Gary, who's my roommate, and my son Austin. She was part of the family. The other dogs, Peanut and Penny, also know that she's gone, and their behavior has changed, of course, because, well, she's no longer here and part of the pack. So, yeah, we're gonna miss her. She was a really good dog. She was a good girl. Right now, I'd like to talk about this circus, as I mentioned in the opener, about this Supreme Court nominee, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, and his accuser, Dr. Blasey Ford. I really am not interested in talking about those two specifically. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about was the circus that was I keep saying that, but because it's so true, this Senate Judiciary Committee who were questioning Brett Kavanaugh, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, and the political games that have been played by both the Democrats and the Republicans. Look, if you're liberal and a Democrat, or conservative and a Republican, I'm not accusing you specifically or personally of being an idiot, okay? As far as I'm concerned, if you have any interest in politics and in the way this country is going, you're a good American. You're a solid American as far as I'm concerned. Whether you have an ideology that includes the left views or the right views, that's fine. Just go out and vote, and vote for people who are actually going to have all of our interests as Americans in mind. Not try to take away our rights, not try to lie to us and tell us that it's not raining when our faces are wet from looking at the sky. We need to find people who are not going to pull the shenanigans that I saw the Democrats and the Republicans both pull during this whole nomination, and this whole thing was just really, really ridiculous. Apparently, there was information that the Senate Minority Leader had in her possession, Dianne Feinstein had in her possession that needed to be brought to the committee's attention, brought to the American public's attention. And it was sat on for 6 weeks. And then I guess the Republicans just kept trying to ramrod this nominee through the process to get him approved as quickly as possible before the midterm elections. I'm sorry. If you're one of our political leaders, and I say that with air quotes, if you're one of our political leaders and you're going to pull that kind of bullshit on me as an American citizen and on you as American citizens, that should outrage you. I mean, this isn't, win one for the team type of thing. This is playing politics with our lives. This is making moves to try to cement power on either side of the duopoly. The duopoly, two parties that run this country. All right, they're the different sides of the same coin. They're both wings of the bird. All right, the left and the right, and they both were embarrassing to our political system over the past 6 weeks. It outrages me that this happened here in America, where political power and special interests and PAC money and dark money and soft money, all this stuff has tainted our politics in this country. And because of that taint, our country is going in huge roller coaster dips and heights, and it's just so frustrating. It's hard for me to find the words, which is kind of stupid because I'm doing this show trying to get my point across. The thing is we need to, as a country, as voting citizens, first of all, get out and vote. Don't stay home because it's inconvenient. Every employer in the land allows you, or by law is supposed to allow you, to go out and vote. Vote in every election. If you're a felon, well, if you have beliefs and you're a felon and you don't have the right to vote, at least be an activist. Advocate for your point of view, your freedoms. I mean, as a felon, if you're not any longer incarcerated, you know what it's like to be behind bars and to be have your liberty restricted. So let's work to try to get this fixed. We've got to fix this, folks. We have to. And like I said, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian like me. We have to hold these people accountable. These people who have been in the Senate and in the Congress for, in the Senate and the House for 40 some odd years, that's ridiculous. We have term limits, and these people are still being voted in. Yes, I know their constituents keep voting them in, but there's got to be a time where we have to wake up to the farce that is our political system right now. This duopoly is not serving us well at all. We have countries that hate us, that we give billions of dollars to every year. Countries that want to see our downfall and want to see you and me destroyed. They would, just because we don't believe how they believe, or we don't live where they live, or we don't meet a certain moral code that they have in their minds. And I'm not talking just about Muslim terrorists. I'm talking about other countries too. Don't tell me you think that England and Germany and France don't have spies here in this country. Okay? But the countries that don't like us, that would want to see us fall, we shouldn't be giving them money. We shouldn't be funding them. We should be using that money to make us more safe and secure. We should have in place a way for people who want to come into this country and make a better life for themselves to become citizens. Okay? And I've said this before, I believe it was episode 1. If you want to come to this country and make a better life for yourself and your family, and you want to be free from the persecution in your own country, then come on. What we'll do, we'll get your photo, we'll do a fingerprint, we'll give you a provisional or probationary citizenship card for 10 years. You won't be able to vote, but you will need to pay your taxes. You will need to stay out of trouble. I'm not talking about parking tickets and you're out. I'm talking about if you commit a violent crime, then you are out and banned for life from entering the United States. If you want to come here and live the American dream and help your adopted country to grow and prosper, then come on, come in here, work hard, do the jobs that apparently Americans don't want to do, if that's what you can do. If you're intelligent, come get an education and come use your intelligence to help your adopted country make a change in the world, make the world a better place, maybe even for your home country, okay, or from the country of your origin. But if you come over here and you start shooting people and running people over and dealing drugs and stuff like that, then I'm sorry, once you're caught, you're going to have to be incarcerated and then deported. Okay. Now, my libertarian friends are going to say, well, drugs, we want to legalize those drugs. We want to tax them and whatever. Well, that's fine. We aren't at that point yet, folks. Marijuana is just coming into acceptance across the country now. Although our Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, is still apparently stuck in the 30s, talking about no good people smoke marijuana. Well, I know a lot of people who are good people across this country who partake. I mean, Joe Rogan, for crying out loud. That guy, he's funny. He is a champion, Taekwondo champion. He's healthy. He's popular. He smokes weed. Big deal. So what? It doesn't make him any less of a solid American just because he smokes a little weed. All right. If you have an addiction issue with the opioid crisis is going on right now. Hopefully, whoever does end up getting confirmed to the Supreme Court will help us deal with that, and that is of our own making, ladies and gentlemen. Us as Americans and the big pharma companies that are out there have pushed these opioid products onto everybody in America who has any type of pain. Okay, they want to get you on the opioids so that you can take them for the rest of your life to handle your pain, get addicted, and then you have to have them. I wish there were a way to just pull a Thanos and get rid of half of all the opioids out there. Unfortunately, though, that wouldn't serve the right purpose, because it would just mean that Big Pharma would make more profits, and they would continue to pull the wool over our eyes and tell us that what we're using as natural remedies, CBD oil, which has no active psychotropic effects, by the way, and has been proven to help people with arthritis or any number of different ailments. It's been proven to help. Seizures. Go on the internet and Google CBD oil for seizures, and look at the videos of the children and the adults who have their symptoms, not just from seizures, but Alzheimer's even, or dementia, have their symptoms almost completely, pushed down or subsumed because of the CBD oil. It hits those receptors in the brain and helps them to actually function a bit. I mean, my folks are getting up there in age, and I would hate for them to have something, some kind of ailment or disease or something that we know we have a medicine for. It just happens to be a natural medicine, and the government says, sorry, you can't have that. You can't help your family member because we say it's illegal. On a lie, by the way. Marijuana has been illegal on a lie, based on racism and corporate greed. Okay, now I don't have a problem with corporations. They put money into the economy. They hire people. They help people help themselves, help their families. But when you have people who use it for the wrong purpose, just like a nonprofit can be used for the wrong purpose. I'll tell you a story probably in another episode of when I used to work for a nonprofit, and some of the people there were the worst. They were the worst people. Maybe 2% or 5%, I guess. But some of them were there, like me, wanting to help people, wanting to make a difference in the world. And others were there just to be, I guess it doesn't matter, where you are. If you're a nasty person or an asshole, you're going to be an asshole no matter where you are or what you're doing. Anyway, I've kind of gotten off the subject a little bit. It's just, it enrages me to read all these Facebook posts, and actually some of my Facebook friends who have said we need to have more women in politics. We need to vote for more women. And my question is, well, is that the only prerequisite for political position or politician that we vote for? Am I voting for somebody just because they're a woman or just because they're a man? That doesn't sit right with me. Yeah, sure, we need more women. Okay, well, then please women, run. All right? Run, and don't try to restrict people's rights. Don't try to make it so that just because you don't like, guns, you're going to try to take them away from everybody. And it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man or Mexican like me. Should I vote for Ted Cruz just because I'm half Mexican? Should I vote for Beto O'Rourke just because his name is Beto and because I'm Mexican? I don't think so. We have to get people in political power who are there for the right reason, not to simply enrich themselves and have more power and change the world into what their ideology tells them to change it into. Okay? We need people who actually have the good of the country and of American citizens in mind when they make policy and create bills they turn into laws. We need to have this BS that Governor Jerry Brown just did out in California, raising the legal limit to buy a gun to 21. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're old enough to go fight and die in the military at age 18, but you can't come home at 20 or 21 or 19 or 20 when your hitch is up or whatever and own a gun to protect yourself and your family in your own home. That's ridiculous. That is utter nonsense. Everybody has the right to self-defense against violence, whether it's violence from humans or violence from animals. I'll tell you, here in Texas, we have a lot of wildlife out there that will kill you if you're out there alone and you're unarmed. Okay? Same thing happens in California. Again, I keep saying this, but go on the internet and look up cougar attacks or mountain lion attacks or wild hog attacks, things like that, bears. I mean, Mother Nature wants to eat us, all right? We have to be able to protect ourselves against violence, okay? If you instigate violence, game over for you. No Second Amendment for you. If you show that you have a propensity for violence, you do not get to exercise your Second Amendment right. That's just all there is to it. And hopefully, whoever we get, whichever nominee we get and confirm for the Supreme Court, will have the Constitution foremost in his or her mind. I don't know if Judge Kavanaugh is going to be confirmed or not. At this point, it doesn't seem that it's going to make a difference on who gets that spot, because they're just. I haven't lost hope completely, but it seems to me like everybody who goes in there just makes the same moves to restrict our rights and to keep us from enjoying the freedoms that we have as our basic human freedoms as humans, to live our lives as we see fit without being interfered with by the government all the time. I'm a brown coat. Some of you will know what that means. And I aim to misbehave. So come back next episode and we'll talk some more about what's going on at that time. Now, what I want to talk to you about right now is Cuz I Matter Animal Rescue. C-U-Z, I Matter Animal Rescue. They're here nearby in Pflugerville, Texas. They help save dogs from places that don't have no-kill shelters, euthanasia shelters. They bring them in. They find homes and foster homes and adoptive homes for these dogs and other animals. And they will even put together transport chains where, say there's a dog in San Francisco, California, and it needs to come here to Central Texas. They will get their network of people who want to help to drive that dog 100 miles and hand that dog off to somebody else who will drive it the next 100 miles or 200 miles, etc., all the way down the chain until that dog comes here, gets the veterinary care, the food, the love it needs before it can find its forever home. So now that my dog Gracie has passed, once I'm ready again, and I'm not sure how long that'll be. I just can't really do it now. But when I do, I will let you guys know, and we'll have some footage of it, I'm sure. I'm going to use the website at Cuz I Matter, cuzimatter.org, CUZIMATTER.org. I believe that's the website. It'll be below. You can see it below, and I'm gonna use them to find my next dog. If I decide to actually adopt a dog, I might just end up fostering. Now, I mean, I'm getting older, and it still is really raw a bit, so I might just foster and help dogs find their forever homes. So look down below, Cuz I Matter Animal Rescue. They're good people. Donate, foster, adopt, spread the word, let your friends know. And if you're not local, that's fine. They'll get the dog to you. Or if you decide not to use Cuz I Matter, that's fine too. Just adopt from your local shelter. Stay away from the puppy mills. They're bad for dogs, and some of the dogs they give you are bad too. But rescue a dog. Mutts make great animal companions. They're smart and they're healthy generally. So that's all for this time. Come see us next time. I'm DB saying thanks for watching the Dave Bristol Show.